G'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Broker Coach Podcast. Our mission is to be the most valuable podcast in the universe for mortgage brokers. I am your host, Sam Panetta, and today I'm joined by my good friend, Justin Picker from Picker Financial. How you doing, mate?
Sammy, I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me in. Really appreciate it.
Mate, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We're a long way from the casino where we first met.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't awards night. We were suited up.
I know, and not hungover, which is great, so that's always good. But, yeah, mate, that was a hell of a night.
That was a hell of a night. Mate, friendship came out of it, so it's all good.
Absolutely.
Mate, just to put today's conversation into context, you and the crew at Picker, you're doing about 40 mil a month at the moment, right? Which is fucking awesome, right? You're absolutely smashing it. How does it feel to get to 40 mil a month, mate?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, to be honest. I've come a long way, and since 2019, 2020, starting out in the industry with pretty much no experience, to being a powerhouse, and a trusted advisor for so many people for their property journeys. So yeah, we're stoked, and watching the team grow and seeing everyone excel, and the numbers reflecting that, it's pretty surreal.
So you started in 2020.
Yep.
What were you doing prior to finance?
Yeah, so got out of university about 2016, got a piece of paper that I had no idea what I was going to do with in public relations, communications. And they were like, yep, you can go do an internship or work in Piedmont for about 40 grand a year, but I've got no friends or family. I've got friends, but no family in Sydney, right? So that budget wasn't going to cut it. So basically, my now wife, we were boyfriend, girlfriend, moved up to her parents' place in Lake Macquarie, Morisset, and then pretty much just started up there and just did, knock around sales jobs and everything like that. A bit of a family event happened over there, so I had to kind of learn pretty quick that you've got to sort your money out if you're going to try and build something and everything like that. So it was a pretty harsh reality of like, it's pretty rough out there if you don't sort your shit out. And university was a great time, but I didn't really, have anything to go into. So I was back to entry-level sales jobs, which I was doing, prior to starting university. So that was a massive kick in the guts. And then I was like, well, I've got to do something. I've got to learn about this stuff. So how am I going to set myself up and, look at building a family and all that type of stuff? And that's when I started looking at property investing. So basically, from 2016, 17, 18, was just learning along the way. I did have a short stint at a real estate company. And then, basically met Eddie Deline, who's a massive buyer's agent now in the space.
Yeah.
And we struck up a really good friendship over a couple of years. And then it was about 2019. He was like, look, quit your job. You got to know a bit of the lay of the land. If you come with me, you can start the brokerage and we'll help each other out. I was like, okay, sounds like an offer of a lifetime, which turned out to be a very, very good one. And so, yeah, the hustle pretty much started in 2019 of, just doing the property investment stuff and then, getting the Cert 4 and doing the training and, trying to start the business and go through the process. And then I was just doing like sales calls, might call 100 people a day and then one of them might need finance. So that was kind of my ticket to start getting, some runs on the board in 2020. And I had a very good mentor, Brad East.
He's got a question in there. Brad East has got a question in there.
Yeah, I was with him for a while and I was like, how do I do this right? But he's good in terms of he was a bit tough. Like he wasn't just going to do it for me, which is what I was kind of expecting. And yeah, for about 6 months, I just pay my mortgage broking fees and get nothing, while I was doing just another kind of sales job. And so he kicked me in the ass one day. He's like, what are you doing? Like, you're just paying fees. He's like, either shape up or fuck off. Like, get out of the industry, if you're not actually going to have a crack. And then something kind of clicked from there that, I don't know, something changed. And I was like, okay, I've got that desire to actually, get going. I've got to do it myself. So, yeah, really had to learn the hard way, go through all the stresses of the deals, and everything like that as you do getting started. So having that tough love was very, very helpful, in those years of 2019 to 2020. And then 2020 to get, a couple of leads here and there. Then obviously friends and family, and once I knew I was a broker, and then that just kind of kicked the momentum up, from 2020 to 2021. I was more of a solo broker, just doing a couple of loans a month, to then going from 5 loans to 10 to 20, needing staff, and a gradual progression from there. Yeah.
How long did it take you to get from zero to, call it 4 mil a month?
Probably about like 2 years. It's tough. And that's the first 2 years of being a broker is so tough, especially if you've got no experience. And for anyone coming into the space, it's so rewarding and everything like that. And, we've got all these really good resources and tools and everything like that, but it is really, really tough because you're managing cash flows, client expectations. You might be doing new lenders, new policies, processes. You're just taking so much in. And if you don't get the loan, you're not going to eat, right? So there's that additional pressure. So it's a lot, but yeah, probably around 2 years until I started to get comfortable and really, lean in the mortgage broker and, we do this regularly, and then you get your referrals because you've done a great job and you're building a bit of a public profile, doing some more video content and having a few additional staff members and getting consistency. So yeah, that first 2 years, I'd say.
Was there a tipping point where you're like, fuck, this is starting to work?
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably well, I was also investing in property at the same time as well. So when I was able to increase my serviceability as the business was going better, I was like, oh, okay, this is great, so I could start to see the results. The business had to do well in order for me to keep investing in property, and keep growing from there. So, but yeah, I think when you get your first 5-star review, people refer on to you, stuff like that. It's like, oh, I actually can do this. Even though I haven't been in a bank for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, however long, I've come in with a different approach and lived experience that's resonating well. And, I'm not wearing a suit and tie and all that type of stuff, no kind of corporate background, that my different approach resonated a lot more with, people getting started.
And were the clients that you were working with in the early days like geographically close to you, mate?
So not really. A lot of the leads and stuff would be with the buyer's agency, Eddie, and the referral program that we kind of had there. And he was Australia-wide, right, using Facebook and all those type of things. And he was really pushing that. So we'd get people across the country that would just resonate that, hey, I want to buy an investment property and I want to do it in this particular way. So, that was the start of it from there. When COVID happened, I just started, yeah, exactly. When it started, like I probably had a couple of mil a month. I was like, yeah, I'm getting momentum. And then COVID happens. I'm like, oh shit. Great, I'm going to start something, it's going to go to shit, nothing's going to work, like, all Devo and whatever. But then obviously the technology changed, people's expectations changed. But that was great because we could do DocuSign and, Zoom calls and digital sign-ups and all that type of stuff. So I didn't really have to go through the process of an old school broker of, I'll meet you at your house at 6:30 and, shake your dog's hand and kiss your babies
like
and all that
dog
stuff.
Jumps off.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have to do that, right? So super lucky in that sense, technology and COVID worked out really well for the banking and broking industry to get shit done quicker. And people's expectations changed. So we were able to really, leverage from that. And obviously, during COVID, it was a great, buying opportunity and all that. The rest is history, right? So,
free money.
Yeah, absolutely. So came out the other side really well.
When did you hire your first team member?
So when I was working with Brad, he had a support staff member and she lived not too far away from me, about 20 minutes away. And I called her one day and I said, look, I'm getting busy now. I can't, I'm doing the sales calls during the day, I'm processing loans at night. And I was just, it was a lot going on. And then the first home guarantee scheme just kind of kicked off. So I did a bit of a push on that. And then being around that, kind of mid to late 20s, I had a lot of friends that were interested in that. So I was like, hey, I need an extra set of hands. And so she'd help me out. She'd been in the banking industry for, 20, 30 years or so. And, it was good having a compliance officer basically there with me to be like, Justin, it's not worth this or these certain things. So also getting a good kick in the ass, along the way. So her name was Lisa Glover. Shout out to you. She was fantastic, really instrumental with putting the boundaries in place, and keeping a lid on things and making sure it's done properly. Because if you get it wrong, then this is what can happen and so on and so forth. So, yeah, she helped me for part-time for probably about a year or so. And that was pre-Quickly days as well. So I was like, can you do the service and calcs for all these things? Is it a deal, getting her recommendation before, going back to the client? So that was the first, step of having an employee and working together as a team to get it done. So that opened my possibilities to take on more calls and, do a bit more from then.
How much were you writing when Lisa came on board?
I think it was just over 5 mil, I think. And then I was like, all right, this is starting to get bigger. I remember looking at my calendar and I was just like, I can't do this. And my wife, we weren't married at the time. We didn't have kids, but thank God she let me work because I would work, the 9 to 5 and then I'm processing till like midnight. And then I'd get up at like 3 a.m. because I'd go, oh, I forgot to do something. And I'd schedule an email at like 3:40 and then, and then you're just into it, right? Like it was a full crazy, which I definitely can't do now. I haven't got that time to do it, but that time of just really when you're doing the calls and the processing and everything yourself, it's very taxing, but had to be done to actually learn it along the way. This is how this all works.
100%. Fast forward to today, mate, what do you reckon the biggest difference is between, 5 mil a month and 40 mil a month?
You got to have a team. I suppose for us, we are high volume, low dollar amount. So we're not, I wish we were some of the bigger brokerages that's, $2 million average loan size. We're only at about like 400, right? That's up from 300.
Yeah.
So we're getting
that's lower than like national average.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So when we get $1 million refi, so I'm like, that's great. It's the same amount of time, energy, effort, work that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were starting out, especially like I was doing loans like 200 grand, buying stuff in Logan and Perth and, all the entry level stuff, which is part of the strategy. And, that you're getting the runs on the board that way. So I felt like we do twice as amount of work for same, if not quite the full result as some of the bigger brokerages. So that's, we had to build the system out to be a bigger brokerage. And, now we're doing, 100, 120 applications a month. And we've got the team and the systems and the process to do that. great when the average loan size comes up to 6, 7, 800K. But that's coming in time. Obviously we're building people with their journeys, and they've started with 2 small properties. Now they want the bigger one, or it's refile the portfolio to get them ready for the next one. So yeah, it's something where our niche, where we've come in, is we've started with you, we're on the journey with you, we're active investors too, and we're doing the same stuff. So that's going to keep our client base with us. Yeah.
And you do see that the clients are over time going ahead further in their career, in their business, they're
Absolutely.
buying bigger properties.
Absolutely. Yeah, they might have been like, look, I'm on 50, 60 grand a year, I'm at home, I can't afford Sydney, but I want to buy a little investment to get started. And that's really where, our claim, we came in when rent vesting was probably starting to get more, buzz around it. So that's the approach that we kind of take. I'm like, well, we did that first. We didn't buy our own home to live in until I had like 6, 7 properties, that type of stuff. So that's really how we have built our business, off the basis of following that strategy and being in the trenches with you. Yeah.
How big is the team at Picker now, mate?
Yeah, cool. So we're about 23 staff.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 2 of our offshore analysts who are wrapping up and going to other opportunities, and that's totally sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll probably kind of hover around that 20 mark, I would say. And yeah, we've got a combination of most of us offshore, but there's about 8 or 9 of us onshore.
And what are the different roles that everyone plays in the business?
Yeah, cool. So obviously you start from the one-man band, you bring everyone on, you get your support staff, then it's a processor, then it's so on and so forth. And all of my staff, we all started onshore, and we were, Min, who's one of my now head brokers, she was processing. Steve was helping me with the credit and, all that type of stuff. Jerome was doing settlements and Libby was doing leads. And then now we've obviously changed our roles a bit to then, help our offshore guys. So how it pretty much runs is, obviously myself as a director, I want to focus on doing the marketing and, one-to-many and seminars and webinars and whatever the case is. Steve's the general manager now. He's shown his stars and stripes throughout the whole process, been in the trenches big time, built a sizable portfolio for himself, done really, really well. And he's a fantastic leader. Libby runs our operations, also a fantastic leader. She was a school teacher before, no banking experience, but her friendly attitude and approach just gets people in, gets them doing docs and everything like that. And then I've got Min, Jerome, Jack, Dan and Vitor. So they're my 5 brokers at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Where basically we want to support them and grow them. And there's nothing more exciting seeing them get the wins on the boards, or they go through the shit, and now we can help them, solve that problem early. So got a really experienced broker team there. And then obviously every broker has a para broker, offshore support.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got a settlements division, and then also Blake Chris, who does like the repricing, constantly looking at the portfolios and how we can, keep in touch with our clients, give them something tangible to keep them going on their journey.
I fucking love this. This is so good. How difficult was it to go from the hero of the story, the head broker, to now backing the broker team that you've built?
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome in that sense. I really keep getting in my own way, which is a massive problem. So anyone who's going through this, I'm sure you've done the same thing where it's hard to let go of control, or, you've worked with a certain client for so long and you're letting go of that control. And we've had to put a bit of a transition, process into place. And I've just had the last 6 weeks off, right? Where I've just had the birth of baby number 3, which is exciting.
How good.
And during that time, I was like, I need to be like away from the whole process and tools and everything to make sure the business can clearly run. And it does. Everything went perfectly well. Any small little issues, they all handled it. You know what I mean? Everything was fine. It's just me going, oh, is everything fine? So I've just got to work out myself in that sense. But if you keep stepping on people's toes, you actually take the power away from them.
Yes.
And I had probably that with Min, and I used to work together. She was kind of like my para broker before we, got into more of the offshoring space. And I would speak to a client, and maybe if I said a lender name, I'd then undermine, because if she might think it's another lender, or she's picked up something, or I've missed it, you actually undermine your team. So the sooner you can get out of the way and empower them, the better. You can still have the client relationship and, initial call and all that type of stuff, but really trust your team and empower your team, because the more you don't, you take that power away, and then things will come back to you. And that, if I'm asking you for pay slips or something, I'm not doing my job. If I'm saying, how are you going to get from 3 properties to 5 or 10 properties, or have you set up an SMSF? What's your insurances like? Have you got a right team around you? I'm doing a disservice by asking for pay slips, not actually looking at their overall wealth strategy. So yeah, that's really where my role is now sitting, which is a lot more exciting, and, trying to get people pumped up, because I've seen the results personally and the team are doing it too. I just don't want people to miss the boat or be sitting on opportunities and then not actually, exploring them.
I find when building a brokerage, the hardest part is, building that team, do you know what I mean? And building that culture and that cohesion.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to get good at building, leading teams and letting them do their thing?
I'm totally not going to take the credit for this. I'm not going to take the credit for it. But that's a really good question. Well, I started hiring friends and family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start in banking, and in my head I was like, if I can learn it with no banking experience, then so can you. So I hired friends and family. So everyone onshore was all friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
Steve was a friend of a friend, so he was the only person that we did a loan together, right? And he did the first loan with me and all that stuff. He's like, mate, I want a job. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but let's try it out, But he took the plunge and went in the trenches with me, and thank fuck he did, because otherwise it would have been really battling. But yeah, he came in with just this energy and just willingness to get things done, and I was like, man, you're a leader, like you're an absolute weapon. And so yeah, he really helped us a lot there. And then Eddie, our buyers agency partner, decided to write like a proper like book, and then it just went nuts. Like the leads coming through were crazy. So having the people there to go through the shit times is absolutely the best. And it comes down to trust, you got to trust the people that you're with. And if you let one bad apple in, then, it's going to ruin your team culture and so on and so forth. So starting with friends and family and then learning along the way was pretty much the angle that I took, so that the trust and, culture was built first.
How much of the business has been tied to the relationships of the buyer's agent?
Look, in early days, massive, and still massive part of it. I feel like we are very intertwined with their processes,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. We work with the same clients, we want to help them build portfolios, etc. Definitely a large part of our success would definitely stem from that.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, as we're expanding, we are seeing that the leads will come from there. But if they decide not use the buyer's agent, or their strategy changes or whatever, we're still there. And then vice versa, if we're getting our own clients, we're then saying, hey, look, we can do the finance, but if you really want to get a property and do it right, go to them. So it's really expanding from there. But yeah, now we've got our existing clients, so let's say it's 6 years of operations. The first 2 years, heavily relying on them. Say the second 2 years, still also heavily reliant, but we're getting our own kind of leads as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've obviously got our own leads, and then they're referring. Plus, it's starting to get a lot bigger, so it's just trying to keep track of everything. But yeah, having a buyer's agent and your referral partners that you align with, super, super beneficial.
And how did you guys meet in the first place?
So yeah, we worked at a real estate firm for a very short period of time.
Oh, you both worked there?
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So I was, and I had no experience in there, and I was just like, look, I'm going to try and, get some experience in the game. And then, yeah, met him there. And then, I was like, this guy's a whiz, like he's onto something. And he had like 6 properties at the age of 24, but he was just like
so good,
dialed in. And I was like, I've never met a bloke like you. And, you grew up in Housing Commission Sydney, and I've grown up in, country New South Wales, like 2 completely different blokes, no mutual friends. But I was just learning so much from him, and I was like, mate, you're a fucking wizard. Like, what's going on? and yeah, then, we obviously ended up finishing at that real estate firm, but kept in touch for about 2 years. And yeah, I just kept learning from him. He kind of gave me the confidence to buy a couple of properties and those type of things. And because I suppose took action and was doing that with him, he's probably like, well, right, none of his friends are doing that. So who can he kind of lean on to maybe, get this started? So yeah, very, very lucky in that sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cause they go, finance brokers and buyer's agents go hand in hand. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're 2 keys to the same lock, basically.
99.9% of people wanting to build wealth in property, you need the bank's money, unless you've got a shitload of cash, which is not everyone. So yeah, very big that the finance, you really got to get that structured, and we want to make sure that we've covered all bases before you start looking at properties. And then, if it's pre-approvals and all that type of stuff, it just makes it super easier for the buyer's agent to go, look, we've got this deal, it's an unconditional contract, we've got to go to auction or whatever. We've done all the pre-work, and, it obviously helps with those conversions as well. So we really have built a solid, relationship together.
Love. And when you spoke about in the early days, it was all from the referral partner, and then a little bit less, and then a little bit less as time goes on.
Yep.
Where was all the business coming from outside of that? Was it content, referrals, was it ads? Yeah. Like, what were you doing to get the business in the door?
Look, I suppose being from a country New South Wales, Orange Bathurst area, and boarding school, rugby teams and stuff like that, like friends and family, it's pretty much being at your late 20s and people wanting to say, oh, I need to look at this. I was getting a few friends and family members that would then, probably not so much family, more friends, right? A lot of friends, and then refer to this and so on and so forth. So that really helped, be another kind of second income stream there. And now that they see the success of what we're doing with the buyer's agent, now they're coming to us to kind of engage for both parties. So a lot of it does come from that. We do content as well. We get a few leads online. But I would say that it's really more of a credibility piece of what you're actually talking about. They're sussing you out, right? Like they might not directly book through a link that's from a Facebook ad, but they'll be like, oh, I saw 20 of your reels or posts or a YouTube video or something, which made me go, okay, I like this guy, I'll inquire through the website, you know, or go ahead with the buyer's agent and all that type of stuff, or we'll speak to you before we go over there. So, yeah, I'm still trying to track all of that data, but I'm definitely saying, yeah, we're still getting a lot from the buyer's agent, but yeah, we're getting more as well coming from websites or direct inquiries or something as well, which is really good to see.
I saw you on the Sam Panetta's podcast. It helps with the conversion rates. It helps
credibility, you know. Absolutely.
Mate, speaking about credibility, you're an avid property investor yourself. Do you know what I mean? You've strung up 20 odd pieces of real estate in your portfolio. How much has walking the walk when it comes to property investment impacted your ability to grow a brokerage?
Oh, instrumental, you know, because if I didn't have that experience and we're just rate shopping for the cheapest interest rate or whatever, you know, that's one avenue. But if it's like, hey, you really want to, you know, build a property portfolio, you want to work with people who've done it before. And that's really where, you know, using our contacts and what I've been through personally to share that with people is instrumental about a decision that they might have, or how should they think about certain things, or getting the right team around them. So super important, you know, and I feel that with the way AI and technology and everything that's going, and there's more brokers coming into the space, that you've really got to find that niche and actually be authentic with what you're saying, because I'm not going to tell you to go to some bank if it's shit, you know, or I've been there personally, you know, or I've gone through this, or they won't take this policy because it's or they won't take this policy for whatever particular reason, or if it's like, hey, I'm currently using this for, you know, alt-doc lending, right? I'm doing a bit of alt-doc lending in that space because I've kind of tapped out with the majors.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we're getting into this different space with self-employed people. You know, I'm resonating more with them to say, look, where's your business going? What do you actually want to do? If you're serious, you know, where it changes the dynamic of the conversation, you know, not just, oh, here's the interest rate. It's like, how are we actually going to strategically plan for your next move? So yeah, walking the walk is massive in that sense. And yeah, obviously having the portfolio behind you definitely helps too.
Bit of street cred.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I couldn't have done that obviously without Eddie and the buyer's agency team, but it's that, you know, taking action. Yes, it's scary. Yes, there's a lot of emotional stuff. Your first property, oh my God, it's a nightmare. But like, you know, when you get to property 4, 5, 6, you'll understand it a bit more. So it's just trying to educate people more around their feelings and emotions and how they handle stress, because it can get fucking stressful. And yeah, you know, if I've gone through it and I've, you know, fallen out of the tree and hit every branch on the way down, well, I can save you doing that, you know, and that's why people would want to stick with us, because we're doing that.
And did you purposely go out of your way to pick the niche that you're working with, or was it a reflection of yourself across your own journey?
I was just basically buying investment properties. And when I got stuck at 3 properties on a PAYG job, and I'm calling the banks like Liberty and Latrobe going, hey, will you take, you know, 100% of my commission to try and get property number 4?
Before you were a broker.
Before I was a broker, I was like, I'm doing this.
Play Monopoly.
I'm like, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get in there and make it happen. And then I was like, I should be a broker. Like, this is what Eddie's been talking about. You know, he's been giving me the kick in the ass. I'm like, okay, it's starting to sink in now. You know, so it's super important to have that lived experience and actually understand the emotional. Like, I know what you went through at your first property or second property, or there's a big decision coming up of, do I sell the home, or do I keep rent vesting, or do I buy our own place, or, you know, what's doing with work? You know, you just got to get real in those conversations. What is actually legitimately possible? And I'm not going to go do, you know, car finance and, you know, asset finance, because that's not.
You don't get involved with it. You stay completely out.
I've done a couple of car loans, but I'm just like, fuck, I'd rather focus on something that I know and understand. Yeah. And that's pretty much where it is. Like, we'll do first home buyers. Yeah, we do SMSF because that's, you know, investment lending. We'll do the first home buyers. I know they need a bit more of a handhold, but, you know, it's exciting as well. And we try and give a bit of an investor's edge, you know, in that sense of, are you doing this emotionally, or are we looking at all angles here? But yeah, like, in terms of, if I'm going to be the jack of all trades, master of none, like, every time I've tried to dabble into something, it's just super stressful. It's not good for the clients, not good for us. So if you want to build an investment property portfolio and do it through this certain strategy, then this is really what we focus on.
Scream it from the rooftops, mate. I want every broker in the fucking world to hear what you just said.
Honestly, yeah, I'll say it again. Jack of all trades, master of none. Pick your fucking niche and be good at it. And you'll know what you're good at. Like, look at your numbers, go back on your data, go back and see what type of loans have you been doing. Look at the demographic as well. Like, that's what I look back to. I was like, okay, well, I'm helping a lot of people from 20 to 40, you know, and 80% of my book's investment lending. So that's pretty much what we're good at.
That's
you
the
know
niche.
what I mean? So
that's the niche.
There you go. Thanks, data. That's great. But you'll get a feel of what you're good at, like what flies through. Where do you give that 5-star service?
Yeah.
If you're stumbling and I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a commercial deal for $10 million, and you go, fuck, there's a lot of pressure on that, and it could be really stressful and nasty or whatever. So I'm going to get you in touch with an expert who is. So all of those different angles that I've got, I've been able to build a team personally, and also for my clients to have as well. That's what I want to come in as. We did a bit of a rebrand as more than just a broker, because we've got to be the glue for so many different industries and avenues for people. Usually come to the broker first, so we just want to make sure we've got every avenue covered, so that if you work with us, we want to be with you with the long term, whether that be with us or one of our partners.
And have you found that as you've gone further in your property and your business journey, that your clients that are coming to you are further along in their property and business journey?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to start somewhere, but I think if people are buying 1 or 2 properties and they've just gone directly to the bank, or their broker's got no idea, then they're seeing us as a point of difference of coming in, and then that's how we structure our business to go, okay, this is where you got so far, where are we going from here, and how can we get you to that goal, really focusing on their goals and what's achievable. We are definitely getting people coming in who have had a lackluster experience with a bank or a broker, or, their needs are maybe not being met, or it's not being explained to them. And that's where we've got to be, think outside the box a bit of what is actually possible, but also call a spade a spade. Like if they're fucked and they've got to do some things that we've got to sort out, I'm not going to say, hey mate, sorry, that's it. It's like, hey, look, these are the things we can improve on. Here's a bit of a plan. I recommend you do this, if your credit scores this or whatever it is, like let's give some value here, rather than just, and I don't want to do it, or, it's outside of a major bank, I don't want to touch it. I'm really surprised at how many brokers just don't deal with second and third tier banks. Crazy. Like there's a large chunk of our book that deals with that. And that's really the difference between going from 3 to 5 to 6 to however many properties. You've got to look outside the box. So yeah, it's a big opportunity for us. If you're not using the majors or you're stuck in your old ways, there's people here that can guide people to where they need to go.
Yeah, because when you're building those bigger portfolios, the lending starts to get a little bit more curly, and that's what it takes. Do you know what I mean? To get those upper echelons of debt, basically.
Absolutely. Like I kind of had this thought the other day. I was like, if I'm not putting you with Pepper, I haven't done my job right. You haven't got enough. You haven't built the portfolio, high enough. And I look back on my investment journey where I missed so many opportunities because I was worried about the interest rate. And he was like, man, you should buy this. Oh, it's a fucking good deal. Da 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 da. And then if I just ate shit for 2 years, I would have had an asset that's gone up a couple $100,000, millions of dollars left on the table because I was worried about the interest rate. So I'm trying to educate people around that. Yes, it's 30 years, but you're not going to be there forever. As long as you know your scenario is going to get better and you back yourself and all those type of things. So yeah, I mean, we definitely don't want to push people that far, but it's more like, educating them along the way of how far do they actually want it and what do they actually want to do,
Do you want to laugh?
Absolutely.
Fuck, I had a couple of cheeky mil worth of Pepper debt back in the day. You got to do
I got it, mate.
You got to do it.
I've got Pepper. I got fucking Resimac. I got Bankwest. I've been with all the banks. So I've probably had more banks than hot dinners. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy, And you got to use them, I speak to Eddie now. He's like, oh, I'm buying this block of units. Who are you getting it through? I'm going through this bank. Who the hell is that?
Never heard of him.
Crazy, yeah. And it's like, but then we look back in 2 years' time, 3 years' time. Oh, I bought that for 4 minutes worth $8 million.
Yeah.
One decision of going with a lender that's outside the box can literally change your life if you've got the right asset and the right team. So it's educating people around that, yeah. And not for everybody, but if they're really serious and they really see themselves building a portfolio, that's where we've got to look.
You're very fucking passionate about this, mate. And I'm wondering as I'm speaking to you, like how much of the growth that you've had in the business and how much of the success has had because you fucking love this.
Oh, mate, I love it. Like I love it.
I can tell. I can tell, bro.
We get to help people with some of the biggest financial decisions in their life. And even if we can't help them, I know that I've been able to make a difference of we gave you something tangible that you can go away with. You didn't have to go pay a financial advisor $4,000 to get told the same thing. It's like, we can word things in a specific way where it's around lending and their goals and what they want to do. But yeah, I'm super passionate. Like, we're looking at inflation, we're looking at everything that's going on in the world. There's so much shit that we can't control that just locks us in. So what can we control? What can you control today to get you from A to B or, at least make a start, not go, I've got to save $500,000 to buy in Sydney. Well, no, let's just start really small, Can we get a guarantor from mum and dad just to get you in that small investment property that gets you on the property ladder, that then gets you moving, so on and so forth? Because I've seen 6 years worth of people starting out, including myself, to where we are today. And that gap is just getting harder. Properties that were $200,000, now that's now $300,000, so it's just getting further and further away. So the longer we leave it, the worse it's going to get. And that opportunity for building wealth, is starting to slip away. So that's why I'm super passionate. I'm like, do something now. And even if it's not massive, it's just something to get you on there, So for your family's sake or your financial future, if you ever want to start a business and you got some asset backing behind you. So yeah, super passionate, clearly.
Mate, from a client's perspective, right? They come to pick a financial. What's the process that they go through?
Yeah, cool. So we obviously love speaking to everyone, and I wanted to give out as much as possible on that side of things. So that's why I'm doing seminars and webinars to give as much of this energy as I can to help people take action. But when a lead comes in, online or buys agency, referral partner, whoever it is, basically, Libby, she runs the operations. We'll do that kind of initial kind of quick call. Hey, what's your goal? What's your plan? What do you want to do? I'm going to send you the doc stack. Here's your forms, documents you've got to fill out for us. Please make sure you get it done. Really big on documents up front. If you can't get through the front gate, how are you going to build a property portfolio? It's just a big mental thing, yeah.
So it's like a triage course. So they come in, hey, this is what we might be able to help you out, get all the docs. Process doesn't start till we've got everything.
Pretty much, yeah. Unless there's if it's like a rates notice or something very small, we'll get you through. But basically, once they get the documents to us, we pre-vetted them, rename the docs, all that type of stuff, appointments booked with the broker. All the brokers as well, they've got to own property. So everyone who works for me, they've got to own property. So they understand the psychological part of it. I just feel like you can't give advice if you actually aren't walking the walk as well. So then they'll get an appointment booked with the brokers. And one thing we've put in is an SLA, right? So saying, hey, we're going to book you appointment in 2 or 3 days. People have been receptive to that because we told them. Prior to that, I was very, we've got to run around like a headless chook and everything. So the team have taken the leadership back on that as well to just get it through. So then the brokers take the full responsibility. They've got the documents. They've got everything there. They have a very good conversation, whether it be phone or Zoom. And then basically, hopefully we can make a decision there of, okay, this is what you can do. We've done valuations. We've done a full credit assessment, credit check, everything like that.
Before the meeting with the client. So the first meeting that the broker has with the client, they're armed with everything. They're ready to make a call.
Pretty much ready to go. Yeah, we want to do as much homework as possible so that the client goes, right, I'm educated, I can do this. And then we can hopefully get a proposal out that day, what we're doing. They're happy with it. Second follow-up call if needed. And then, obviously down the line, get it processed, get it approved, so on and so forth. So we just want to be super comprehensive because if you're going to put that time in for us, we want to put that time in for you, and I think it's super clear. It's not like, okay, then I'll wait for this document and we're going back and forth for a few weeks. It's a little bit of a balancing act because some people are a bit like, I don't want to give you all my documents or haven't had a big strategy session just as of yet. So I've done a lot of videos and, things that go in there with a link saying, watch this video. This is why we need it. This is the process. Here's an instruction video of how to fill out your form and your documents. If you have trouble, give us a call. We'll get you through, but it's just super imperative that we get that to get the most out of it.
How much have you automated that onboarding process then to get those deals converted or those clients on board?
Look, there's still got to be a human element. Libby making that phone call, like as soon as it comes, it's got to be done. We noticed that when we just left it to text and emails, it dropped off a bit. And you basically get 3 reminders, 3 emails, 3 texts, and the phone call as well. But as soon as we get it or it comes in, that speed of the phone call, and obviously Libby's very nice and direct how she does things and everything like that, just gives that sense of, okay, I am speaking to a real business, real human, but we're using a bit of technology there to send those kind of follow-ups. But that human element is just so important. And even with all this AI stuff coming through, you've really got to have that human element in this game of trust.
100%. And so how many phone calls, triage calls would Libby be making each and every single day?
It can range from 5 to 10, just depends, on what it is. And then obviously our existing clients as well that will come back through. We've also kind of said to them, if you're an existing client, you've got your stuff on file, we'll pre-fill it, go back and say, okay, this is what you had. I just need only these updated documents and then get them through as well. So I'd probably say around 5 to 10 from, new and existing clients kind of coming back, put an inquiry in for Lib to action or, get the team to pre-fill it and get the request across. And then if they get stuck or we see there's progress and they're not quite there, give them a call. Can we just get that, friendly tap along to get them through?
Yeah, perfect. And we've got that 2 or 3 day turnaround time from docs received to strategy presented.
Yep.
Who's doing the research and the creation of the strategy? Is it the broker or is it's the broker doing it, not the credit?
Correct. Yeah. Well, the broker and the para broker will work together.
They're a combo team.
Correct.
Yeah,
does this make sense? Are we on the same page? This is what we're thinking. Hey, customer, tell us your goals, a bit more detail, all that type of stuff before we present and say this is what we're going to do. But having a clear, understanding that, we're both looking at the docs. There's nothing on the credit file we haven't missed. There's nothing there that's going to jump out at us later on. It's super important. So we're just very big on that pre-vetting just to get it all there, ready to go. So it's a really smooth conversation, straight to the point. We can get presenting easily. And then, after that phone call, parabroker's like, yep, we're both on the call together. Bang, I can get the paperwork out straight away, straight to speed.
Get it done.
So, and obviously 2 to 3 days can, worst case, blow out a bit. But, we try and make it 24, 48 hours is what we say, because it's still a decent amount of time. But, the ultimate aim for me is to have the calendars booked for the brokers, with fully pledged files and docs and everything ready to go, so we can just get it down the line. Yeah.
And so then if the broker's got, 4 prezos or 6 prezos on, the para broker's still there getting the strategy and the credit basically put together in the background to go again the following day. Love.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Mate, we've got so many questions here. I haven't even looked at the phone yet. I haven't even looked at the phone yet. Oh, man, there's so many. Okay. Were there any stages in the journey where you got stuck? And if so, how did you get unstuck?
Well, definitely my health went to the side, and tell you that for free. I really would just work a lot, and you go into weddings and all that type of stuff every time. So definitely put on some weight, and I'm trying to reverse that at the moment, and mental health. So definitely getting into the space. Like if I had my time again, I would have definitely done a lot more exercise and routines and structures and time planning. Definitely would recommend. So I'm trying to reverse that now, and I'm being forced to with 3 kids, right? It's just, I've got only limited time to do certain things. So that's one thing. I think when you get a decline, that always kind of sucks, or something that you didn't foresee or anything. I used to really beat myself up a lot about that. And now I'm just like, if it happens to the brokers, I'm like, what do we do wrong? How do we present it to the clients? Initially, when I was starting it, I was like, oh my God, I can't fucking do this. Like I'm an imposter, all this type of stuff. And it used to suck. I used to really beat myself up. I was very, very hard on myself. I'm still pretty hard on myself now, but definitely was a lot harder on myself. So that's just over time, getting more confident, building the team up around me, and we're all getting the wins together is definitely something that's helped. So when you can share your wins. But I suppose it's just like nothing's like the investment properties have all gone up for everyone. Nothing's ever really gone bad. I think it was one guy who accidentally gave me a 1-star review because he thought I didn't get him a conditional approval, which we did, and then he decided to pull out and everything. And it's just how you manage those problems, right? I don't like things festering. If there's a problem, I always want to fix it. Make sure we give that 5-star service, overall. So it's just probably me managing my own boundaries, I think, and the stress of certain clients too. Probably letting a few bad apples in, that definitely sucks. Like if you let one person through that is rude or disrespectful or doesn't follow the process, it can just, ruin the next 9 applications because you're worrying about this one person. So,
What do you do to cut the bad apples now, mate, now that you know more?
Yeah, look, we do charge a fee as well on the initial documents as well. So that's been one thing if you're a rate shopper.
Before you get dot collect.
Yeah, so when Libby's on the phone, she's like, hey,
collecting fees.
Yep, as well as like, hey, I'll book you in for your appointment. Also, here's a link to make your payment. Because again, we're saying we give you a very tailored, structured, investment service, not just, hey, this is, what you can borrow and stuff. It's like, how do we get the rest out of it? So as I said, being more than just a broker. So that's one thing. It's kind of weaned out people who aren't serious, and then makes us, focus on the people who are. We're not going to be actively pushing as much, you know what I mean? We're not going to be like, hey, mate, you're cut. That's it. It's just generally, if they didn't have a good experience or something or whatever, or we let them know. Or also we say, if they're coming back for a second time, just letting you know, this is the process. This is what needs to be done in order for that to happen. We're now got a bit more confidence to go, right, foot down. This is how it is. Unfortunately, this is how we have to do it. Otherwise, it affects so many other people. So before, when you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to upset them because I don't want to lose the lead, it's now like, if I let this person in, I'm going to ruin the next 4 or 5 or put unnecessary stress on my staff. That's not worth it, So we just got to be clear with those boundaries and stuff. Yeah.
How long did it take in business for you to get the confidence where you're like, nah, this is how we do things. If you're a dickhead, we don't want you?
Still working with that. It's only really been a transition probably in the last like 6 to 12 months because I've given the power to the other staff. So Libby and Steve, they're kind of like my lead. We have the 3 of us like the leadership team, and Libby sees the operations and Steve, sees the brokers, oversights them. So they're able to make the calls and say, look, we're seeing this is what we recommend. And I'm backing their judgment. It's not just me. And it's so good to see when they make the call and we all agree on it, and then that changes and the numbers are better and the experience is better. So I'm just kind of following their lead in that sense. And or if we all bring an idea together, we we don't miss any blind spots because we're all looking out for each other. So that's really worked for making some of these bigger decisions. And yeah, it's definitely working a lot better. I think the SLA, and this is the process. If you want to work with us, professional outfit, people, as long as we're upfront with that, a lot of emails and text and all the links and videos and stuff that come with it is so comprehensive that you can't get it wrong or nothing. You can't miss it. Yeah.
Mate, you mentioned that you charge fees on the triage call before someone's allowed into the picker universe, right?
Yep.
When did you introduce fees into the business?
So that was about 12 months ago as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just kind of, we would get a lot of people kind of wasting time and, those type of things. And look, it's only a one-time fee of $400, right? If we're going to be working with you forever, it just shows a commitment.
It's a negligible amount of money.
Correct.
You don't do it for the money. It's for something else.
Absolutely. It's like, if you can just pay that, you're committed to us. And I'm then like, this person's paid for this, to work with us. We've got to deliver that 5-star experience and be very comprehensive and, all those type of things. So when there's that, when you pay for something, it just changes a switch in them because they're like, well, I've paid for this. I want this, if it's like, oh, I'm just thinking this or whatever. All right, well, if you can't pay it, if you can't part with that, then you clearly don't understand the value that we bring, and we bring so much value. Having access to people like Eddie's got, 150 million worth of real estate, and the accountants and contacts and stuff that we all use together, getting access to that and being in the trenches with people who are in, their 30s doing the same thing. We're not someone who's just going to up and disappear. Well, we really want to make sure that people who work with us value what we do. And that small thing, is definitely helping. But also existing clients as well, like they're still, coming back through. And, we didn't charge for SMSF fees. Everyone was like, you are fucking crazy for not doing that. And it took me like 3 years to go, I don't know if we can do it, man. I don't know. And I'm like, I'll charge $990, $1,000, right? Still cheaper, but it's something. People then understand that. And when we charge the fee, we're like, we charge it because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And you have to do more paperwork and you have to do certain things. It's not just, it's a free service and the brokers sort it out. It's like when we say, admin fee and this, and you just got to sign this waiver that says you understand this is a pain in the ass. It changes that shift. So
is that how it's written on the doc? You understand this is a pain in the ass.
Summarized. Pretty much. It's a lot more work, that comes with it from us and from that side. So, yeah, we want to make it as easy and, understandable as possible, but also like, hey, we're a professional outfit. If you're getting in your super, you're obviously going to be a professional investor. So, you understand things cost money.
100%. All right. What, all right, we've covered a bunch of these. The team, we've got some onshore and we've got some offshore.
Yep.
Were we hiring offshore and onshore simultaneously as we grew? Did we pivot somewhere along the line? Where was your thought process around building the team?
So, obviously started all onshore, build the trust, build the systems, relationships, make sure we can get this off the ground. And then speaking to other brokers, bigger brokerages, we do offshore and we got this and all this type of stuff. And I felt coming into the industry, it was very like, not it's just like a secret club if you get offshore people, right? I'm like, how the fuck do I get access to offshore people? Like, how do you do the compliance and all that type of stuff? Like, I felt it was really like hard to get access to, a couple of years ago. So speaking to other brokers and like, speak to these guys and blah, 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 blah. And you kind of go down the rabbit hole. And then what I just kind of realized is that some of the bigger ones, like the real big multinationals, they don't give a shit. They just put something there and, the service wasn't up to scratch. Then you're starting to speak to other brokers and who do they use and how many have they got. And that's what I love about this industry is everyone shares so much. It's
good
like,
people,
it's so good. Like, I've never been in an industry. Everyone wants to help each other, and that's why I love talking about this because if this can help someone else, fantastic. But with the offshore stuff, it was, speaking to other brokers, what do they do? How do they run their processes? And then trying to implement that. So we had a couple of different offshore companies. And then, we've obviously worked with one in India who does a lot of credit. And then, speaking to another broker who then was able to put me in touch with some Filipino guys and we got some Filipino for our admin support. And then it's, just kind of grown from there. So, really happy with how the offshore stuff's, panning out and where it's growing and going to. But it's definitely a first step. And there's a lot of brokers out there that don't do it. But if you're a one-man broker, and you can get a para broker to do your admin stuff and then frees up half your day to do more calls. That's like, if I went back in time, I would totally do that, get something like that sorted. Yeah.
You'd go offshore first if you started today.
As long as you had someone who's experienced, that had some experience in the game. And there's a lot of people out there that have worked for other brokers or banks or something like that that understand it, So, friends and family would be great. But if, we haven't got the budgets or means or anything like that, if you can get someone who's had a couple of years experience working for a broker or something, it's a great way to start to free up your time to do bigger and better things and, grow the business that way.
100%. Mate, How deep in the AI rabbit hole have you gone?
Fuck. So I was speaking about this 3 months ago, and I said to the blokes, shout out to the blokes at Quickly, by the way, my life would be fucked if we didn't have Quickly, let's put it that way. But when they came into the space, they revolutionized it, and allowed us to get to decisions much quicker and so on and so forth. Now, they've been doing their AI add-ons and everything like that. Caught up with them about 3-4 months ago, and I was like, look, I'll just let you blokes do the AI stuff. It's too complicated for me, and left it at that. Then after baby number 3, I'm sitting in the birthing suite and, watching some YouTube videos, and this guy's, and I'm going to tell you this, you're going to blow your mind when we get out of here. Start looking at different AI apps and things like that. And it's just, there's Chat GPT and it gives you an answer. And every time I'd use it, I call it back Chat GPT because it just fucking back chats me. It doesn't do it. Like I just have to keep
You'll then have an argument.
Yeah, I'm like, just do the thing I told you to do, or I get it as shit. I'm like, what is this? I use this one called Manus, MANUS, right? And this one on the phone, I'm in the birthing suite, and I asked like pretty shitty prompt, and I was like, make me a PDF for my website logo about these certain things, and like you just see it just go and did it, and like 10 minutes later, I've got this juicy PDF on processes with my logo and stuff, and I was like, are you kidding? Like that would have taken me hours, or get a marketing agency or someone to do that. So then I was like, oh, what about this? I'll try this. Then I was like, hey, watch this YouTube video and like summarize the key points and then put my Pick a Financial logo on it and make me a PDF for my staff members. In the space of like 20 minutes done. I was like, are you kidding? So sitting in the birthing, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like bloody Superman. Like got all these superpowers, but I'm stuck in the birthing suite for now. So my brain was probably not where it should have been, being a dad of 3. But yeah, it's just crazy to go, oh wow, this technology is coming in really hot. And so going down the rabbit hole, this type of stuff. And then I just realized like there's AI, like there's a new industry that's going to emerge, is like having an AI person come into your business. What's the problem? What do you need? What's your bottlenecks? How can I fix it with AI? And so I've just done that. And some of the processes that I've had, I just can't believe it's now been fixed, or I'm waiting for aggregators or technology to change, or, oh, we can't change this feature because of whatever. It's now like, fuck, you can do it now, or you can pay someone to come in specifically what it is, built specific to your brokerage and your needs, which is massive. So that's just blown my mind. And so now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. And so now I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So for all the AI, it's such a buzzword. And I thought it was a buzzword literally until about two months ago. Now I'm like, holy shit, it's coming, and it's coming thick, and it will come through. But yeah, if you're a consultant in certain industries, you're going to be worried. I think for brokers, 90% of what we end up doing on the computer will be handled by that in a few years, but nothing's going to beat the authenticity of having a conversation and being you about these decisions. But yeah, we are going to get a lot of help from technology along the way.
I think it's going to make the delivery of a home loan easier, but you still got to get the attention of the client in the first place. Absolutely. You still have to have that know, like, and trust factor. If you can press a button to get the home loan written, fantastic, but it still doesn't take away that front end element.
Exactly. I'm exactly the same. I feel that, like, you got all your digital banks and stuff like that where they're still, the applications are getting done, but the data is like, they're not finishing it because people panic, right? So same thing with the broker. We want to implement as much stuff as we can. There is obviously going to be work from the clients and everything there, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to help us get to that decision faster. But yeah, I'm also seeing a lot of ads pop up, that are just AI. Some broker just started as AI, but I'm like, you can just tell it's an AI ad. So, but well, how many properties do you own? How many people do you help? Like, how many people have you built a portfolio for? That's the stuff that's missing. So I've really got to hone in on that, not say for our survival, but you know what I mean, to like be that point of difference, right? Because there's going to be heaps of bloody, people popping up with their own AI ads and all these different things, and you can make fake people that say fake stuff. And like, I've seen some
That's so fucking weird.
Mate, I've seen some ads, and I know that AI. I can see it because like it's like it could be me. I can make an avatar and I'm like, hi, it's Justin from Pick a Financial. And you can just
creepy, bro.
You can kind of see behind the eyes that that's fucking AI, but maybe most people can't see it. Or like a word's just a little bit off with the twang, but I'd be like, right, I'm Justin from Pick a Financial and I fucking do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. If you want to do that, like you got to really come in with that energy. And that's really the difference of where I see it going, But yeah, I'm absolutely blown away with how far it's come, say, in 12 months to like what I've been doing on my phone in the birthing suite to like when I'm back on the tools on Monday, I'm like, right, I've got all these ideas and things I've built that it's like ready to, present to the team and go, this is what we should do. Or I've said to the guys now, if you have an idea or any bottleneck whatsoever, tell me and I'll get that AI consultant to fix it.
So tell me about the engagement that you've got with this AI consultant, mate. How does this work?
Basically, you say, what's the problem? They're helping business owners, right? This will be in any industry, right? So think about, accounting firms, whatever, right? What are the biggest bottlenecks, or what's the most administrative tasks, all that type of thing. What can we do here to make that process better? And then, so I've created pick a financial dashboard with all these certain different things, and then I can, know who to call my client quickly about certain things, and it's just giving me something that I've been waiting, for aggregator software and stuff to kind of do, which now I can kind of do on my own, and build that around. So basically, you come to them with the bottleneck of hey, these are the issues that I've got, or they help you get it set up so then your team can use all the AI features, because there's a lot of ad hoc and stuff to do it, where they can come in. So in about 2 months' time, I'm bringing that person to my office we're doing a little staff retreat, not to my office, I should say, staff retreat, where they're going to come and do a presentation, get it all set up on everyone's computer, and so that we're prepared for the next, period of time. So if it's helping summarize things or get things administratively out quicker for their everyday brokers managing their lives and tasks, means we can get on the phone more and do more deals.
Love that. Could you give me an example of something that is going to be fixed with AI that's on your radar?
Hopefully your lead management will be you're getting the follow-ups and appointment setting and all those type of things. That's definitely getting a lot better. There's voice AI to call and say, look, hey, I'm the voice assistant for Justin. Do you want me to book him in the calendar? There's definitely some things there. I think that we've seen it with the processing, that, you can, it really comes down to the compliance of the banks and the aggregators, right?
That's the gatekeeping.
As soon as they let it go, you'll be fine. You probably don't need your processes as much, because that computer could go in and pre-fill it and look all that stuff. But we can't do that now. It's not compliant, right? So you can't do that. So there's not a great deal we can do yet. But obviously, I'm sure the banks and stuff internally would be using, all of this technology and stuff to get their AI decisions out faster. But you really got to watch this space with the aggregators and all those type of things. So at the moment, have a look at Quickly. Obviously, they've got AI features. It now does the file notes when you select a product, right? Huge. Saves my time, half hour right there. It's okay, we selected this, bang, 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 file notes done. We know it's compliant, whatever it is, but typing it out, having to do it over and over and over again, that's such a massive time saver. So for those kind of features specific to the job of being a broker, you're probably going to have to look at someone externally that has got a Quickly that has those features and it's all signed off, aggregators, all that type of stuff. But for your leads, your personal admin, all those type of things, dashboards you need for yourself so that you can then do your job better, that's where you'll get an AI consultant until we get, compliance, or, you can use certain data and things like that. Yeah. So there's still a little bit of a gap, but I'm just focusing on what AI can do for me personally as a business owner and as a leader to then be able to deliver better.
And I guess the ideology behind it is, if you've already got it in place for things that you're allowed to get it in place for, when the floodgates open.
Correct. We then go, okay, it's just this. It's just a simple this, simple this, simple this. Yeah.
Because you've already got the runs on the board. Correct. You know how to do the thing.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, love. All right, mate. Tell me about your favorite tech. We were chatting a little bit offline here, and he almost stood on the chair. So I want to know, what's your favorite tech?
Okay, favorite tech. So we use the MacBooks, iPhones, works very, very well. Probably every broker would have gone through a set of Bluetooth headphones. There's always dramas with getting the best audio call. Probably 20 pairs. Everyone's like, new set, I could still never get it right. One thing that surprised me is those Ray-Ban Meta Sunnies. Fucking unbelievable. The sound quality is unbelievable. And for doing the audio quality for your phone calls is unbelievable. So you got your sunnies on and you can just be walking around and you can barely pick up any background noise. Had kids screaming, whatever, and people can't hear on the phone. So that's really allowed me to be less connected being on my phone, but more connected with doing phone calls and actually doing things, So that's been a massive, massive game changer. Your MacBooks, iPhones. I use an email app called Spark. So if you're managing a team of say 10 people, you can have the 10 inboxes right there and manage it all. So if something goes wrong or someone needs help, can you check this email? Yet, no worries, I can search. And it's if I'm not sitting in front of my computer, the emails look like they've come from my computer. It's not sent from Gmail on my phone. It's exactly the same. And I've got templates in there and all that stuff. So if I get off the phone on my sunglasses and then someone's like, I want to do guarantor or whatever, I'm like, okay, sweet. Go to my email, send the template. Here's the thing. There's all the videos embedded. Watch this, send the document stack, away we go from there. So it's just how quickly can we get the technology and information to them and then get them to fill it out. So that was mine. We use Broker Engine as our CRM. It's been pretty handy. I was just blown away with those Ray-Ban sunnies, to be honest with you.
What else can you do on the Ray-Ban sunnies, mate?
Yeah, well, you can listen to your podcast, which is great. I'm holding babies outside and doing laps and listening to you in my ears, telling me how good the industry is.
So if someone's listening to this without the Ray-Ban sunnies on, they're wasting time, basically.
Get them. Honestly, get them. You got to get it. I thought it was a piece of tech I wasn't going to use, but they're fantastic. They've been so good for calls and keeping connected and all that type of jazz.
So good, so good. But we've got a couple of cheeky questions that have come through here. We spoke about it earlier. Brad East, how many times did he kick you up your ass when he was mentoring you, mate?
Look, he was probably the first few. I just, he probably was a little bit softer, but it wasn't until I got the firm kick in the ass of like shape up or fuck off that it kind of stuck. You know what I mean? He was just like, "What are you doing? You're paying fees. You're getting nowhere with it." And I was distracted. I was really distracted. Oh, do I do this? And prior to being mortgage broker, I was like hustling like iPhones and shit on Gumtree and like selling that, to make $1. And then I'd be like, "Oh, I'll do this loan. Oh, I can go and pick up this iPhone or whatever." And I missed the point. So I was distracted for too long. So once he was like, "Mate, if you've got to have a proper go at this, like you got to do it now." And then after that happened, I think I just applied myself a bit more, which was really helpful. So if it wasn't for him, maybe I would have just went, "This is too hard," and see you later. But obviously Eddie being in the ear and him wanting to get things off the ground, he was obviously a very big driving force as well. But it was obviously super tough. But you got to get some of that tough love to actually understand it. Yeah.
How much of progress comes down to focus, mate?
Oh, look, my focus is dog shit. I got a brain of a goldfish. I'll always miss something. I've always been bad at that. And as we've gone on in the business, I'm good at talking, and this is my strength. But when it comes to paperwork and process driven stuff, I've always been a bit wish-washy, or that's where I've had a bit of friction, as growing. So. Staying focused, having an organized calendar and stuff is very important. But I think the bigger goal at the end of the day, there are so many distractions and things trying to take money out of your pocket and everything like that. If you can stay focused on the goal at hand and, building your team and all that type of stuff and having a big enough why will keep you on track to what you want to do. Yeah.
Some sort of North Star that you're working towards.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, mine is obviously, property investing, and I want to keep going. And if I can't get more, if my business doesn't perform, then I can't get the finance to keep going and, all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty much, I want to set up a, financial future and security for my wife and kids and, hopefully generations to come and, obviously have a great established business that can help as many Australians as possible. Like I think, helping, it's so cool that I get to help people and I get rewarded along the way for helping people. And if I can't help people, I'm still helping and trying to do it. Things come back in roundabouts, in the future, people come back 1 or 2 years later and, "Hey, thanks so much for that. Now I'm ready to go," or "I've done this," or we're doing those type of things. So yeah, by helping other people gets you to your goal it's a pretty surreal feeling.
I love that, mate. That's fucking commerce at its finest. You know what I mean? Where the more value you add to society, the more that you get back. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I had a bit of a health scare about 12 months ago, and I sold a portion of my investment property, and I was like, I'll do what everyone does and pay my home off early and all that type of shit. And I was like, sweet, like paid off the mortgage. And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, what am I doing? Like I've just kind of cashed out of like
just sweating because you didn't have enough debt.
I was like, what am I doing? I'm like, I just was like, I've gone against it, and and then I was just sort of, I've kind of put that thing of security there, but I'm like, no, hang on a second, I'm going against my entire advice of like don't sell and do all these type of things and everything like that. And I felt like I wasn't like contributing, or I felt like I took a step back and all those type of things. So now I've kind of realized that you just got to intertwine the work and life balance and only focus on the important things so you can keep your impact high, because it's very easy to get bogged down and distracted on certain things that don't do that. So it's really just trying to put those parameters in place that will keep me on track, for that. Yeah.
100%. Mate, what health scare happens here?
So I've got like basically like a high cholesterol that runs in the family. So our hearts and high cholesterol, heart attacks, huge in the family, right? So I've been on medication since I was like 10 years old. And there was like a bit of calcium build up in there. They thought I had a big blockage. And I was like, dude, I'm 32. Like, can't be having a heart attack. But if I didn't pick it up, it was only very like mild amount. And there's still some in there. You shouldn't have any of that at the age, 32, 33. But it's manageable. But it's your health and lifestyle and stuff. And I know over the past few years, I've put the the business and brokerage first and stress levels and things. So now, time's on my side, all that type of stuff, which is great to reverse that. I've just got to actually do it, and that's where these changes in the business have come in to go, look, I'm going to be, I can't do this. Like we're going in a direction that like it could have been another 2 years of carrying on or whatever, or, could have had a heart attack at 35, and that's very real for people in this industry for the stress that we take on and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of a moment of like, oh, okay, this is a bit pivotal moment of like, if I didn't pick it up, I'm very lucky, you know what I mean, in that sense, so now I just have to work that back. And since doing that, I've now been able to free up my time and get more effort out with somewhat less work because I'm focusing on the important stuff.
100%. So that was obviously a trigger for you to change the way that you structured the business.
Yep.
What have you changed in your life since that happened, mate?
A bit of dieting is always good. Trying to lose the weight and, obviously focus more on mental health priority and also building up the team members as well, where I'm not holding on to all that stress. I've been like, let's make a decision together. That's where I've got my leadership team with me, where they focus on these certain things and I can focus on these, and it frees that up. So yeah, still work in progress. Absolutely. There's a few things I've got to sort out.
That's fucking life, mate. That's life.
Yeah. A few things that I've got to sort out.
It doesn't help that we're going to China Dome. We're going to go. We'll get a 2-hour lunch.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That doesn't count.
We'll walk there. We'll walk there.
Absolutely.
Done.
Small lifestyle choices, walk than taking the car. But yeah, it's things like it's a gradual process, right? Like I think there's a lot of business owners, or I could have got to 40 or 50, and or maybe not even got there. So I'm like, I take it as a blessing that I've had a bit of a scare. I've got to rethink things. I'm not bulletproof. I'm not 18 anymore. I've got kids. I've got responsibility. Got staff. Got mortgages to pay. So there's a lot of I've got to look at the longevity of that and the sustainability. I can't just burn the candle at both ends, which I definitely felt like there were times doing that. And then making those changes 6-12 months ago, building up the team, has also resulted into better numbers because I'm not across everything, So yeah, it's actually worked out really well.
100%.
Yeah.
Mate, you got a young family in this growing business, and they've both come around the same sort of time. Do you know what I mean? How do you juggle that?
Oh, I'm struggling. In terms of
no one's answered well. Like no one said, "Oh, I'm fucking really doing good at that." Everyone's like, "No."
Yeah, no, my wife Maddie, she's an absolute angel. She is the best at what she does. She's just the love and care, and having like family support around has just been massive. But it's definitely a lot. Like I've now going from 2 to 3, that jump, like, is always on. There's always something doing, So my housework and things like that has always been a bit, questionable. But I've now been forced into doing that, and it's a questionable effort. There's a bit more effort going in, but it still might be a questionable result. So I'm learning along the way with that. But that's, again, it's picking those times. So, this week I'm like, okay, as of Monday, I'm going to work these hours, and these are the things we've got to set up. So now I'm like, right, if I've only got 4 hours to like smash it out because I've got to do the kids and do all that type of stuff, that's what I've got to do. I've got to make sure in those 4 hours I'm not stuffing around, we're not doing it. It's just bang, 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 what's important, what's moving the needle, what's there to, get the most out of it. So, and my team's super receptive to that too. Like I've been very transparent about it, all those type of things. And that's why I want to build them up so that, if anyone goes away on holidays or something like that, or, the wheels don't fall off, we've got reserves and things that we can actually do. Yeah.
So just ferocious effort when you're at work. And then when you're done, it's like, hey, I'm with my wife, I'm with my kids.
Correct. Absolutely. And it's also that, so I did some webinars and stuff towards the end of last year. And like I had 120 people listen to me for an hour, and I was like, that's 120 calls that I did. And yes, there's preparation and stuff, but now I'm okay. Let's flick the brain. How can I get my message out of there? And that's what's good about content as well. How can you get your message and reach out there? That's not so many of those, in the one space of time, or, really getting that underway. And so I've got seminar tomorrow, like in front of 70 people to talk about investing and all that type of stuff as well. So for me, I'm like, that's such a better use of my time, and we'll see what, the results come in from that, because my time's going to be more limited with the kids. But yeah, obviously it's full on. Like I love the kids. I love, being around them and doing all that type of stuff, but we're just in a very challenging aspect. 4-2 in like 6 weeks, so we're in the trenches right now.
You're in the thick of it, mate. You're in the thick of it. You're in the thick
absolutely.
of it. I know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not leaning to you for some dad advice here, mate.
No, listen to me. We've got fucking going grey, mate.
I won't be long. I've got a couple coming through. So,
mate, how long have you been doing the seminars and the webinars for?
Well, that's probably been around about 6 months or so.
Okay.
So the webinar stuff was, definitely something I wanted to. I saw Graham Home, the Money Mentor, right? Like huge following, stupidly huge following. I was like, I'm going to take him on. It was a fucking big job, a lot bigger job than what I thought, and everything that comes with it. So that was a realization of, okay, well, what can I do here? And so do a bit of paid ads, and you got to say, we're a broker, I'm this, got an investment property of X amount. This is how I did it, and if you want to do the same, this is, I'm going to tell you in a 1 hour webinar. And so you pay ads, people come through, got some hate online, which was the first time I got brutal inboxes. And I was
Tell me something spicy. Tell me something spicy, please.
I don't know if it's suitable for the cameras or not, but this dude was like, you should go to the gym. Yeah. Anyway, it was huge. It actually broke me out. I was like, fucking hell.
It rattled you.
Oh, mate. I was like, what is going on? Like, it was crazy. Yeah, he went nuts. And I was like, okay. And then you get a few people going like, scam, you can't do this anymore. Like, times have changed. I'm like, yeah, they have changed, but you can still do something.
Yeah.
So, but then I realized after getting a few hateful comments, it actually helps with the algorithm to pick it up. And I was like, okay, stop being, just, it's part of it, So it took me a couple of days to adjust my mindset. But yeah, people were turning up and listening to me. And then I've done about 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Eddie does some seminars in his office, right? So I'll come in as like a speaker just talking about finance there
perfect.
Too. So that's kind of worked out well in that sense. So now I'm just like, all right, I want to be tip-top performance, ready for those. And then after the, webinars or seminars, that's when I can ask the specific questions, have the one-on-one, meet someone face-to-face, and then hopefully that helps with the conversion, down the line, builds that trust, for the brokers and stuff. So yeah, that's what I really want to focus on. And then also that was an asset too. So I had to replay that webinar, which I put out to my clients, and one of them watched it and was like, that was so good. I watched it in their own time. That was so good. Refile like $2.5 million. I was like, oh, so good, like it costs money and ads to do that, but they sat there and then watched it in their own time for an hour, and then it got a deal back through. So it's just those little things of how I just need to get all of this energy out into content and assets that can help people, make informed decisions, and we'll be there to help them.
Have you been doing more content lately?
Yeah, I've got a couple of guys helping me offshore doing that type of stuff. So we're just doing things, but I've also reached out to Sunbear. So we're
Big JP.
Yes. So we'll be going up there in a couple of weeks to do some more marketing up there, and do all those type of things. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to doing all those type of things. It's a new challenge, and back to your kind of quote about, brokers are going to be influencers. Like it's crazy to think that is the case, but that's kind of where it's going, you've got to kind of come in with your runs on the board and expertise and all that type of stuff. And that's where I'm like, I've only been used to doing the loans, but now I'm kind of got to get out of that to do these other things. So yeah, I've been doing some content. I did like one video, 9 months ago that went, nuts about interest rates going up, got 400,000 views on TikTok. I was like, oh shit,
this
that was
works.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. Same thing as well. So when you get your little bits of credibility of this, and I had a news article a couple of months that came out as well, about buying investment properties and stuff. So when people suss you out, you got a webinar, you got this, you're doing content, you got a news article, you got a following, it definitely helps with the credibility back to the business. So that's what I'm just focusing on and trying to get that out there as many people, but also that one to many. If I can speak to 100 people or 50 people or 20 people, rather than 20 individual calls. Yeah.
I love this, mate. This is scale like brewing.
Yeah.
Is this your role now in the business? Is your role rainmaker?
That's where we've had to get to.
Yeah.
Because we've all if I'm asking you for pay slips and I get it wrong, or I cause friction because I'm talking to someone about going to a certain bank, I'm not doing my job anymore. I'm not providing value there. Whereas now I have to come in and say, well, based on my experience and the contacts, and this is where you want to be because you're at this seminar or webinar, this is what you want to get to. This is how we can help you get there. These are the services we provide. So yeah, that's my big focus now of just really, and that's that, imposter syndrome now. I'm like, we're clearly not imposter anymore because we're doing the numbers. We've got the clients, we've got the results. It's just taken me a while to actually properly fully believe in that. So yeah, now coming back into it, having a break, I'm raring to go, and I want to partner with other businesses that, hey, look, we've got myself and the buyers agency partner. If you're a financial planner or something like that, we've got a really comprehensive offering here to help your clients and make you look good, extension of the business, so on. So I think there's a massive opportunity there too. And then, yeah, speaking in public and, doing webinars and socials. Yeah, definitely. So that's really going to be my primary focus going forward.
Any nerves of the public speaking?
I don't know. You tell me. How's this podcast going? No, a bit. No, I definitely have some nerves around that, but it just comes back to that authenticity. If I can't bullshit, I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? you're going to see right through it. You know what I mean? When that happens, so it's like, okay, here's the runs on the board, here's property addresses, all that type of stuff. Do an RP data search, whatever. You can see that it's all kind of there. So hopefully it comes out all right. I mean, the last seminar we did went pretty well. Webinars went all right too. So just got to keep doing that and continually providing that value.
Love that, mate. This is so good. All right, I've got a cheeky one for you. Daniel Buckland. Shout out to Daniel. He actually told me not to ask you this. After he asked me, he goes, don't ask you. And I said, no, fuck you, you're in now, Daniel. He wants to know who your favourite team member is.
Look, that's like say what favourite children are.
Yeah.
It's that question. No, I love my staff and team so much, and everyone has their own individual quirkiness or attributes they bring. Motherfucker trying to throw me out the bus there.
He's trying to stitch you up. There's no safe way to answer that question.
No, but that's what I just love about the business so much is that everyone has different strengths. And we, it's like probably a pivotal moment 3 years ago, like end of financial year, Christmas, I'll try and do like a retreat or an event or something like that. And had a raffle at the local pub, won I got full of red wine and got a bit too trigger happy and got this bloody retreat in Hunter Valley. So we went there and did a personality test. I was like, how's this going to run out? And I was like, let's do some ideas. Personality test was one of the best things we ever did because then I understood everyone a bit more. Like, why do people get shits about certain things or why do people do certain things a certain way? And after we did that, I was like, okay, this is really good to like know what people are good at and then empower them, from that side. So now that we embrace everyone's individual, strengths, it just helps the business so much better. If someone doesn't like doing something, what do they love doing? So we can kind of hone in on that and focus, specifically on that. So when Min and I had completely different opposites, I was like, oh, so that's why you get the shits, is because you care so much. You're not angry at me. You want to do a perfect 10 out of 10 job, but you're getting frustrated because I can't let you do that because I forgot to ask a question on my notes with dog shit from the phone call. So it's things like that where I'm like, okay, you take a step back, you empower them. Okay, well, let's make a process change to do that. Let them flourish. And then that's where you kind of work at what's everyone kind of best at. So everyone in their roles, there's no favorites because everyone does an exceptional job in everything that they do. And they all have their own individual, things that they want to do or whatever it is in strength. So we just play to that. Yeah.
Love. Mate, if you had to give a piece of advice to a new to industry broker that was coming into the game today, what would you tell them?
It's never been easier, but it's never been harder.
Oh, yeah.
Easier is you got tools like Quickly, you got digital expectations, things are moving so quickly. It's awesome. You get your Cert 4 and all that type of stuff, get cracking. And then you've got, your Facebooks and TikToks. You can do so much online content now, get it out there, everything like that. It's also harder because I think that there's a lot more brokers coming in now, right? And there's a lot more people doing content and everything like that. So you've really got to come in with a point of difference. If you have kids, like I feel for you. I'm so lucky that, I did all the hard yards before having kids because I don't know, I probably would have broken. Like if I was starting a brokerage right now with 3 kids, mate, I'd be fucked. There is no way I would be able to do it. I would have not been focused. I thought I wasn't focused then. I would have no focus now. So yeah, if you got kids, it'd be like, well, what parameters and stuff can you put in place? It's hard. The first 2 years is totally hard. It's really hard. You're getting better tools to make it easier, but getting leads is hard. And, there's some people that I know that are good friends that are brokers that have pulled out. They're good brokers or they're good credit. They work for banks, but they're struggling to get leads. So your leads is the number one. And to get leads, you've got to be authentic and do something different. So what is it that you can do to bring leads in? Once you start getting leads, then get your offshore support or someone in there to help you sooner rather than later. I hired later. I didn't hire early or prepare. But that's changed a bit over the years. But yeah, initially it can be pretty stressful. So the first 2 years is going to suck. You got good tools, you got good supports, you got great podcasts and broker coaches out there, which fuck, I wish I had you when I started. I'll tell you, oh mate, I would have been in a lot better shape, I reckon. But yeah, you got to learn along the way. So yeah, get the right team, get support around you, put your hand up if you don't know things. Your technology is getting better, but yeah, your leads and marketing is going to be your number one.
It's funny, everyone says the same thing, man. There's so much of the game is getting people's attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's how you do that. What's going to set you apart from the other broker or Mortgage Choice or Aussie or something like that, especially if you're going to build your own brand on that side, or if you do partner with an Aussie or a Yellow Brick Road or whatever, prepare to take a big slice out of that for what they provide you. So you got to work out what works best for you, or do you go work under a broker who's experienced and learn from them and then go out on your own? You got to work to what can you actually sustainably do.
100%. Ooh. What is the biggest change you've seen in the industry since you started?
That's a good question. That's a bloody great question. I just think it's a lot more accessible now. Like being a broker, when I started, I thought it was like very corporate, like all that types. Like it's a lot more accessible now, and I think like there's when I see like younger brokers coming in that just wear shirts, t-shirts, make it a lot more accessible, and the schemes are getting easier, and these type of things to get in, and they need people to explain it. You got technology explaining certain things and all that type of stuff. So I find that the education piece to educating people on the way is so much more accessible now. And then that's where, people on TikTok and Instagram, where you can build your brand and your following and all that type of stuff. The technology's gotten so much better to get that out there, because so it's not just you got to go speak to this bloke who's a friend of a friend or whatever. It's like I can just search on my phone now and educate myself along the way. And I think the financial education and literacy, people are waking up now and they're like, oh, this is fucked. Like, if I don't do something now, I thought getting $100,000 salary job was the way to do it. No, it's not. It's the $100,000's like $50,000 now. You know what I mean? Like living in Sydney, all these kind of things you built up towards, people are like, oh, well, this doesn't add up anymore. So that's where they're looking to, how do I invest? What do I do? How do I get ahead? And that's really where there's so many people online now, podcasts, educational resources and things that can really help people. So yeah, I think people are a lot more cluey, a lot more switched on. They still need, that handhold professionally, but they're getting up to speed a lot better, which is a good thing. People can actually understand what's going on and make more sense of it, but yeah, it's obviously more saturated now, so you've really got to cut through and make sure that your message, and that's where you're having runs on the board and actually doing this personally is going to set you apart.
What do you do to get cut through, mate?
Like just be me.
Yeah, yes, no one can be you better than you can.
Yeah, that's just be me, and the runs on the board too, like having a sizable portfolio, knowing that if you say no to me, it doesn't matter. Like we can move on to the next deal. Obviously, we want to keep growing the business and stuff, but it's like I'm just going to tell you how, based on this scenario, what you should kind of do here, and you can choose to take it or leave it, whatever. If you've paid a fee, you understand that type of thing. That I'm not just saying it to get a sale. I'm trying to help you, specifically, for that. So that's really where it kind of is. And I've had to go through the trenches, over the years and all that type of stuff. But yeah, being me, I'm very unique in that sense. Like, there's not too many people in their 30s that have, X amount of properties and all that type of stuff. And I think that really helps, with our credibility, how we've been able to help with the staff and, set up the processes, specifically for that. Because yeah, if someone's going to go to, my mum's broker or someone who's, in their 60s that wants to retire on a very small amount of trail and doesn't really give a shit, well, are they actually the person for you to do the job? How many properties does that broker own? What team have you actually got around you? And that's really where with the cut through a digital and what we do, we can get the right team and help those people that align with that.
Yeah, I love this. I feel sorry for a lot of those older guys, man. They're getting crushed out there.
Yeah,
they're getting crushed out there by
crazy.
The way things are changing.
I just, they got to adapt, they're stuck in their ways, but the technology is getting so much easier and better. You got to adapt in this whole industry, right? As soon as policy changes, whatever it is, you got to adapt, because if you just get stuck, you get left behind. If you're not up with, again, AI or tech or doing socials or whatever, like you're going to get left behind because people don't know who you are.
What do you reckon the biggest change over the next 6 years is going to be?
That's a fucking good question. I was just thinking about getting back to work on Monday. Not 6 years, but anyway.
Because we can see how much it's changed over the past 6 years, and it's changed materially, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm trying to think ahead, because I just saw what one of the next questions was, and I'm trying to think ahead as like, hey, what's the game actually going to look like in 6 years' time?
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like you can take a couple of guesses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe streaming's going to come into a more live streaming. I feel for content. I feel like AI is going to play a bigger role.
Yeah, definitely AI. Definitely AI is going to come in. It's really it's that cut through of the personal approach. It's that personal 5-star service is really what we're going to need to do that, because banks are fighting back. They're not taking it lying down. They've got mobile lenders, they've got their own apps, and all these different things and processes that they want to bring in, because they see that the brokers are taking that market share. I expect a fight from the banks. I wonder what that's going to be. They're obviously closing their branches, but they are going to be going more digital. And I think it's just going to be more of that digital experience. But I'm also kind of saying that But yeah, if you can do the digital, but you can get that cut through, maybe face to face will come back. You're going to need to start doing those type of things to cut through. It just depends. Really what your target audience is, where you're going to go with it. But yeah, I expect the banks to fight back, and we're just going to have to sharpen up on our digital or disrupt the industry again somehow. Which is it education workshops? Is it doing all these certain things where you're bringing a whole group together, like big seminars and stuff. I know we've been doing seminars previously, but like, is it these people who made it huge digitally and now doing, big tours and stuff like that? What is it? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to spitball some ideas here, but there's got to be something that comes in and disrupts because the technology's coming. We just need to make sure that our personal reach is still there and cuts through. Yeah. So,
because surely it becomes more competitive over time. Like any creative pursuit gets more competitive over time, not less competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like there's more people coming in, there's more brokers coming in. The barrier to being a broker is, as I said, the tools are making it easier and stuff like that. And people are getting more clued up. So I don't see us going anywhere, but it's just, we've got to be cutting through. We've got to be innovating. It's really about that innovation to stay alive.
100%. Mate, what's the future look like for Justin Picker and Picker Financial?
Yeah, look, we just want to keep going and growing and helping as many Australians as we can. I said I get such a buzz out of seeing, like if we get a 5-star review and it's the broker's name, not me. Love that. I love that. It's like a proud dad moment. Or like the systems we've put in place that wasn't me. The team did this. It's not me. So I just really want to grow the team, help as many people as possible, see their results, their wins and stuff. We're going to do a little bit of sponsorship and stuff at the moment and just try a few different marketing avenues and techniques. So that's pretty much what I'm doing, from this point forward with all the marketing and, just trying to see what works and where can we get the maximum reach to help as many people as we can. Yeah, and I'd love to do education, if we're going to schools or something like that, helping kids, before you get out, don't go buy a fucking souped up car or, stuff up your Optus phone bill and ruin your credit rating, all these type of things before you even get started, So I'd love to kind of come in with a lot more education around that to help people so that they feel empowered when they get out and, not crushed by the system.
Well, if anyone's listening and you've got connects to Education New South Wales, Education Australia, can you get this man a seat at the table, please, so he can help these young kids out? I fucking love that. Young kids should be given every opportunity in life to get ahead. You know what I mean? They're the future. We're fucking old, mate. They are what's important next. I feel in my heart of hearts.
Oh, absolutely.
This is my favourite question. It's the last question of the day for you. I ask everyone this: if you could give one piece of advice to 8-year-old Justin, what would you tell him?
Stay focused. Do some things a bit sooner. Probably stop fucking around for a little bit. Look, yeah, it just, I feel like, everything that's kind of played out has always played to my strengths. I was always wanting to learn about money and all those type of things, but probably back myself sooner. Yeah, that was one. A lot of self-confidence, being a bigger kid and all that type of stuff. And with money and all those type of things, I really wanted to kind of go out there and back myself, and it took a lot longer than what I thought to say, to get to this point. And, when the times were tough, just still kind of back yourself, you know what I mean, would have been a big one. And take risks earlier. I was very kind of conservative with that and followed the university approach and all those type of things. So as soon as I got out, I wish I probably didn't stuff around for 2 years, like saying I was going to be a broker. I want to be a broker, not even enrolled in the Cert 4, I wish I kind of took those steps earlier, because an extra 2 years of compounding would have been pretty good. But, it is what it is. Very fortunate to be where I am today. But I definitely would say, back yourself early and probably get a bit more disciplined.
Oh, I love it, mate. Hey, you've absolutely crushed it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
I appreciate you, mate. You're a
thank
good
you.
fella. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Picker Financial. I hope you've enjoyed the Broker Coach podcast today, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for the next episode. Goodbye.